Welcome back, beautiful people, to another episode of Trey the Terrible Collector. I hope you all are having a wonderful holiday season. I know I am, and to celebrate and also to reward you for your patience, we're going to be unboxing the Wolverine. This particular Wolverine is the third edition from the Uncanny X-Men Toy Biz toy line from the early 90s. And as you can see, he's in a Jim Lee-inspired costume that's very similar to the costume that Forge is wearing. In the comics, the team had all gotten a similar look, and it was a very cool departure from some of the things that were going on previously, where everyone had their own individualized things. Currently, Marvel Legends is releasing a retro line that has new editions of a lot of these figures. I really like to see the comparisons and see how they match up. I'm very excited to open this particular figure. I have never actually owned this one, so we will be seeing it for the first time together. As before, we have our X-Men up in the upper right-hand corner. We have some very cool artwork over here on the side. He's wearing his orange and blue costume. I'm sorry, his orange and brown costume, like the Wolverine first edition. And just like the second one, it says he's got Savage Strike Twist action. Over here on the back, we do have some artwork depicting him using his powers, which appears to be the same as Wolverine Edition 2. All that being said, let's get right into the fun part. Nice and easy. Cool. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to look at here is our accessory. It is a tiny little machine gun with a scope on the top. It is identical to the one that comes with the Wolverine second edition. And as we break him out, we're going to look at some differences and similarities between the other ones. As you can see, he's a very, very similar body sculpt. The exact same thing going on with the hands. His head is entirely different, however, he's shown without his mask. He does look a little bit more interesting than the first edition, but still very, very simple in terms of the details that are going on with his face. He's got some very 90s garter belt kind of situations. I'm sure there's all sorts of things in his pouches. If you compare him to the Forge here, you'll see that the costumes are almost identical. The boots are a little bit different, and Forge has his headband and his satchel, whereas Wolverine just has a little bit more detail on his gloves, a couple of little wrinkles in there. Compared to the second edition, I mean, they're pretty much exactly the same toy. They've got the press-in, spring-out claws. It's all of the differences are just cosmetic, but very cool, and a figure that I've always been excited to see in person. I never actually had this one. You guys can't see that at the front, but for me, I think something interesting is these guys are wearing some very provocative underoos. All right. Sexy. Over here on our card, we have a trading card featuring Illyana Rasputin, whose code name I'm not going to try to say because I don't actually know how to pronounce it. So that means it's time for our Illyana has a really crazy backstory. She was initially a young child in the comics, but was abducted and taken to an alternate dimension called Limbo, where she was raised by a demon named Belasco. She grew into an adult there and came back to the mainline universe and joined the New Mutants. Later, she was de-aged back to a child and contracted the legacy virus, which she died from. She eventually was brought back, as most comic book characters are, and when she was brought back, she became a host for the Phoenix Force, along with Cyclops, Namor, the White Queen, and Colossus. All right, there you have it. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. It does mean the world to me. As always, please remember to like and subscribe. Leave a little love in the comments if you feel so inclined. I do love hearing from y'all. It was exciting for us to get these 2 Wolverines out here, but now it's looking a little lopsided. I think next week we're going to have to bust out another supervillain. Make sure Sabretooth has a little bit of support. So, as always, y'all have been wonderful, and I have been terrible, and we'll see you again soon.